Hello there, Board of Trustees. Today we are going to do something a little bit different. As we approach valuation season, this is my opportunity to share an overview of the work that we've done over the last year. So we're going to take you through some of the artifacts in the form of a PowerPoint, but then later on you're going to have some resources that are going to be also shared with you through Google Docs with some artifacts that'll speak to the work that we've done here in Waco Independent School District. As you know, I had the opportunity to join Waco ISD in October of 2024. And during that time, I told you as a board that I would come in and do an entry plan. And in the entry plan, I had the opportunity to walk, talk, listen, observe, and meet people throughout our district, but also throughout our community. Also in that time, I did bring back a community engagement plan. And during that time, I did indeed have the opportunity to meet with our stakeholders, our students first, our staff, and also parents and guardians who work with our students every day. And so I want to kind of take you through that journey and just take you through the work we've done to where we are today. All right, so what did we do? I had the opportunity to use a tool called Thought Exchange, if you remember that, and we gathered input from every school across our system and from every department across our system. And so they were able to say, this is what we love about Waco ISD. These are things that we have, I'll say, feedback on with Waco ISD, and these are our strengths and weaknesses. And so from that time, we also were able to just take that data and just put it together and kind of come up with some feedback and also, I'll say, lay out some next steps for the district. Along with all the tours, as you can see, we did hit every school twice, and that was, I think we did that in about 4 or 5 weeks, which was insane, but I wouldn't trade it. We had the opportunity to hear from our students and our community members, and as I met with people, people in turn gave me a list of other people throughout our system, not just internally, but externally, who had feedback, ideas, thoughts, and information about Waco ISD. Was the whirlwind? Yes, but would I trade it? No. That was just my time to just listen and learn and just soak in all the rich information about our district, but also about our community. Some key things that came up. We talked about behavior management and discipline. You all brought that up as trustees, but also our staff brought that up, our students brought those concerns up, and also our parents. And so that was another, I'll say, resource that was kind of aligned and belief that was aligned with our stakeholder groups. Communication and collaboration. There was a need to make sure that we're bringing all the voices together. Some schools were doing what they wanted to. Some principals had different ideas. Everybody was kind of going maybe in different directions, but there was a need and a want and a desire to kind of bring all that communication together and collaborate more. And so that's something that was, I'll say, a call to action by our system. Staff support and resources. I learned that we had a lot of resources in every sense of the word. And so it was one of those, like, we have resource overload in some areas, and in some areas we were inefficient in our resources. So that did come up through our staff and also with our students. Our school environment and our safety, that kind of aligned with our behavior. There was a need to make sure that everybody felt safe, respected, valued, heard in our system. And so that's something else that was like a call to action for me, but also for our team and also for the trustees to come forward. Academic programs and resources. There was a request that we take our curriculum and we streamline it. There was lots of resources out throughout our district at every level, and there was, I'll say, a misalignment that was kind of brought to my attention from all of our internal stakeholders. Our students were saying things, our staff definitely said different things, and our parents gave us feedback as well as you trustees. And then lastly, just community and family support. There's just a need to kind of bring our community and our families together. I talk a lot about it takes a village, and that's some of the things that came out from that time when I came here at the very beginning. And so with these, I'll say, different areas, it was like a call to action. What do we need to do to make sure that we kind of align Waco ISD and make us a better district as a whole? So based off the information that we gathered from all that work, my belief was that we needed a strategic plan. We needed to be very, very refined in what we did, what we believed, how we moved, and how we set a course of action for the district. And so thank you for saying, when I asked about let's do a strategic plan, you guys were like 100% let's go. And so with that work, we were able to bring in stakeholders from internal and external. So parents, community members, staff members to come together to say, hey, what do we envision Waco ISD to look like in the next 5 years? And then how do we set that course to make sure that we're all aligned and going in the same direction? So we did have the opportunity to update and maybe even upgrade our mission and our vision. And so thank you for that. I know we had some fun word crafting and wordsmithing, but it did come together, and I'm proud of what you guys created and what you guys approved. And so I think one of the things that kind of just highlights for me is just keeping wisdom, or Waco ISD wisdom, in everything that we do. That was central to the work that we did, cultivating wisdom and then growing our students and aspiring excellence. And so I'm just proud of what you all approved, but I'm also proud of the work that everybody did behind the scenes to make that come together. Next, we talked about our belief statements. And to me, I think this is one of the most important things that I think we could have done as a district. Out of the mouth flows the issues of the heart. That's what I believe. And so if I believe that our students can succeed, I will project that and our students will feel that, right? And so our belief statements about our students, about our staff, about our parents, about our community, about the superintendent and on our office, and also about you. It's crucial for us to come together as a collective, whether you're parents, whether you're staff, whether you're students, whether you're in the superintendent's office or your trustee. It's all about us coming together as a collective. And again, having that belief, it starts right there. If we believe in one another, we believe in our work, we believe in our system, we can achieve great things. You guys set out our mission, our vision. You gave us our belief statements, and then after that, we talk about our 4 priorities. So simply put, our students are first. Everything we do is at the heart of our students, their success, academically, behaviorally, emotionally, all those things, right? And so we do have 3 criteria that we're monitoring and that we're tracking to make sure that they are successful. Number 2 is our staff members. We know we cannot do this work without them. We have to make sure that we invest in them. We provide the best professional development. We recruit them, we retain them, and we make sure that we give them all that they need to be successful in their role, in their craft, whatever department across our system. Because when we do that, our students win, right? And then after that, we should have our community. Again, I believe this with all my heart, and sometimes I don't know that other people believe it or see it, but I truly believe that if we're going to do this work, we're going to do it right. It can't just be within the schoolhouse walls. It has to be all of us. Our parents have to be involved. Our partnerships through communities, whether it's higher ed, MCC, Baylor, whether it's our banks, whether it's our business partners, architect firms, whoever, we all have to come together to make this work. And that's the only way our students can excel and achieve. And so again, we have to make sure that we bring our community into this work and into this conversation. And then lastly, we have to make sure that we're good stewards. We have a responsibility to be fiscally responsible with our finances, but also with our facilities and our operations. And again, I try to say this as much as possible a lot of times, and I love teachers, please hear my heart, but we have some unsung heroes that don't get acknowledged. And so I think about our custodians, I think about our food service, I think about warehouse, I think about all the maintenance and operation team members. They go above and beyond every day, from our bus drivers picking up students, smiling and being the first and sometimes the last faces to see them. So we have to make sure that we're good stewards of them, but also of the roles that they fulfill in our facilities. Because again, when people come to Waco ISD, the first thing they see sometimes is a facility and not necessarily the people. So we have to make sure we take care of those things as well. So the goals outlined in our strategic plan, they are lofty. They are lofty. It's a heavy lift, and we talk about that a lot in Waco ISD. But I truly believe that we can do it. We've set ourselves up to be successful in the future. And so as we kind of go through all of the bullet points, I just want to make sure that we know the work is hard, we know it's heavy. And as I told the principal, I said the principals in one of our recent principals meetings, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. However, I did tell them that this year it's a sprint. We have a lot of ground to cover and we have a lot of moves that we have to make this year. But once we get that, we can kind of stable out and level out and make sure we kind of keep on the right trajectory. So is it going to be hard? Absolutely. But is it worth it? Absolutely, because our students deserve it. So let's talk about priority 1. With our curriculum and our instruction, that's 1.1. We have to make sure we meet the needs of our students. First, let me just say thank you for approving our math curriculum. That was a need that was, I'll say, loud and clear from our teachers and from our students and from our parents. And so with that need, we were able to respond by adopting Bluebonnet. And so even as we go into classes today, you can see that our students are just like, okay, this is different, but I'm liking it. And even talking to some of the teachers are just like, you know what, I'm struggling because this is different for me than what I've been doing in the past, but I know it's going to help our students. And so I'm thankful for that. We also took the time to refine our English. We were bringing in, I'll say maybe too many resources, and our teachers were not able to focus on the content and really dig deep in that work. And so thank you for improving and approving that, the work that we're doing in the instructional lens. Also, we're working to make sure we improve our behavior and our safety efforts. And so I think about, I'll say priority one, it's about wraparound services. That's the best way I can say it. We have to meet our students where they are. There's a social needs, there's emotional needs, there's academic needs, and there's behavior needs. And so if you look at 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3, you'll see that those are things that we've kind of put in place to ensure that they are successful in their work. So community partnerships. This one is just so excited because we're coming off the heels of our deal with the city, right? $32.2 million. I'm just still in awe, and I still don't think it's really hit me how much money that is that's going back into Waco ISD. But the point is, community partnerships matter. We cannot do this work alone. And when I first met Mayor Holmes, he and I had breakfast one day, and I told him, I said, listen, I'm just now meeting you, and you're just now meeting me, but I'll tell you one thing. You need me and I need you if Waco, Texas is going to be successful. And he totally agreed. And so from that day forward, we've been able to connect and do some things differently. Him speaking at Convocation was just like, wow, he had so much fun. And I think our staff did too. But again, it's moments like that that just share that like we are in this work together. And so we have to continue to build on those partnerships. I've had the opportunity to work with Baylor and their education department and making sure I get to speak and talk to their students, undergrad and graduate, but also I get to help inform their work and how that impacts Waco ISD. So again, it's just crucial that we have these partnerships, meeting with the president of MCC, the president of Baylor, the presidents of the hospitals. Like, we are meeting any and everybody who says they want to have a part in the work that we do for our students. So I think it's important for us to make these partnerships happen, because when we do, we can create internships for our students, and they can leave with experience, they can leave with jobs, and maybe even scholarships that says, hey, I'll pay for you to go to school, and if you come to work for me. But also externships for our teachers. I've had this in my previous district, and we do it here, but I think we can do more. And when I say that, part of the deal with the city was that we have externships for teachers, but I don't think that we've pushed it as far as we can. So if you're an English teacher, I do want you to go to an engineering firm or to a business facility or architect firm or to a welding center, right, or a place where they're doing manufacturing, because when they see that, they can see how to bring that work back into the classroom for our students who are in those fields. And so again, we have some great opportunities to continue the partnerships, but I believe we've set the stage to kind of do exponential growth and opportunity for not just our students, but also our staff. And not only is it important that we partner with our businesses, but our main partner should always be our parents and our guardians. We have, I'll say, aligned our processes for Parent Square, and so I get all of them. Thank you very much. Do I read them all? No, I do not. However, I do know that our principals and our teachers and our staff, they're pushing to our parents, and our parents are engaging. So this is great work that comes from our communications department, but also from our campuses. And so this is our way to make sure we have that engagement. And if I remember, do not quote me on this, we have about like a 98% engagement from our families. And to me, that's pretty stinking good. So yes, people talk about Facebook and Instagram. We do those things for social media purposes to get people engaged, but we want to make sure that we have that relationship and that we're talking to those stakeholders, because again, we cannot do this work without our parents and our guardians and our families. And let me go backwards real to October 2024. When I was doing some of those thought changes, I did learn we have a lot of grandparents and great-grandparents who are guardians of their students. And so when I kind of came upon that revelation, And I talked to our team. I said, we have to make sure that we are not just saying, hey, well, I sent it, they didn't come, or they didn't do this. It's a different age now. And so we are aware that parenting looks different in 2025. And so we have to do things differently because they're not all on the internet. They're not all on socials. So we have to make sure that we're engaging all of our stakeholders. So that work is going forward. We're also working to make sure that every school has a PTA or a PTO so that we can bring people in and bring families in. And we're also working on making sure that we're having just different special events across our system so that people can kind of join in the work and just take part in what we're trying to do for our students. And again, this goes back to that notion that it takes a village to make everything happen for our students. So again, we can't do this work without all of our partners, and that's from our parents and guardians all the way to our business partners and our education partners and our medical partners, anybody who wants to serve and take part in what we're doing for Waco ISD students. Last but not least, our financial and our operational efficiencies. This is at the backbone of what we do. If we don't have funds, we can't do anything for kiddos, period. With the uncertainties of our legislature, I am proud that we made the deal with the city because that's going to help us have some continuity and some stability for years to come. But I also know that we have to make sure that we invest fiscally responsibly into all the programs and the people that we have throughout our system. And we also take care of our facilities that are across the district. And so in this specific, I'll say priority, it's crucial that we monitor our finances, but we also look at our operations. Do we have a 10-year retention plan to where we're just tracking everything and not waiting until something breaks to fix it, right? Are we going back and repairing and take care of those needs, whether it's our buses, whether it's our cafeteria refrigerators, all those different things. And then also, are we making sure that we're taking care of our custodian and food service members, and do they have what they need to be successful? So in this priority, when you read, you'll see some of the work that we've done for those areas to ensure that we are operating responsibly for the good of the district, which will impact our students and our staff. A couple things too that I also want to point out. We have this past year, so coming into 25-26, we did change how we reallocated some of our title funds. We wanted to make sure that it was based off of need. We had not been doing that, I'll say, as clear or as thoroughly as I had preferred. And so we did make those changes coming into this year, and we can see the fruits of our labor kind of investing. We've also we did purchase some software to help with attendance. One thing that I guess people don't know, and I'm not sure even if you know this, but attendance will dictate your accountability. So the higher that percentage, the better you will do with accountability. So we have to be strategic. So every Monday when we're meeting in our leadership meetings, we're talking about attendance and we're talking about how can we help our campuses. And so we did get some software that's helping us track our kiddos, make sure that we're kind of saying, hey, Tiffany, you weren't at school today. Where's the note? Call your mom, call your guardian. So we have some different processes that we're refining that'll get us through this year, but also work on some things that will open up for 26-27. So, and then the last thing I will share with you, I'm kind of walking into 2024, and I did clown Dr. Kincannon, but that was me and her on the phone. I said, girl, you left me here with attendance boundaries. And she laughed, and I laughed, but I was like, serious, right? Because the first thing you don't want to do when you're coming as a new person is to talk about something that's very delicate. You have families that I've been in this school and this whole feeder pattern for the last 3 generations, and now you're about to move me to another feeder pattern. That could be a point of contention. But I do believe that going through the attendance boundaries process, we started in November of 2024 and setting that up for 25-26, which we're currently in right now, it was a smooth transition. We got lots of feedback, lots of positive feedback internally and externally, and we did multiple sessions throughout the community to say, hey, talk to us, shoot it down, give us feedback. And so that was, it was a challenge, but it was a good challenge that I think we kind of fared out victoriously. And I think we did right by our students, we did right by our families, and we did hear voices, and we were able to honor voices and make sure we made the right decision for our students here in Waco ISD. As we close, a couple things I want to remind you of. At Convocation in August, I did talk to the whole entire district about hope. And to me, I want to kind of just put this, frame it for you. The reason I did that is because over the last year, I had seen, heard, felt the passion, the heart, the desire to want to do right for Waco ISD. And that's coming from our families, from our students, and from our families. But I also felt like in there was like some hesitancy or reservation or a lack of belief that we could do this work. And so I felt it was, I'll say, important in my role to set a standard of expectation and provide that hope that people are looking for. And I think that sometimes people think, oh my gosh, a superintendent, it's a cool job and everything is always 100% happy all the time. It's not. This is the heaviest job that there can be in education, because you take it personally and people's lives are in your hands. Our students' lives I feel like they're in my hand. Our staff lives are in our hand, and even our parents. They don't come to school here, but I still feel responsible for them because I have their prized possessions in our schools. And so I believe it's my job to provide hope. And I simply shared, and I want to remind you that hope simply stands for this. H is for help. We have to help one another. We have to be by one another's side through the good, through the bad, through the ugly. And even as trustees, I need your help. I need your support. I need you to speak life. I need you to be positive. I need you to help us move the needle for Waco ISD. We have to help one another, and we cannot do this work without one another. O simply stands for opportunities. We need to capitalize on every opportunity we have to make good use of all the things that are beneficial for Waco ISD. Now, does opportunity mean that everything that we see, we go get it and we do it? No, that does not. Opportunities to make sure that we're taking care of our students, we're taking care of our staff, we're taking care of our community, and we're taking care of our fiscal responsibilities. Opportunities to make sure that we're aligned to our strategic plan and that we don't veer. We have to make sure we're smart with those opportunities, we're strategic with those, and that we're staying aligned with the vision and the mission that was set by you. P, protect. Simply protect this house. Everything we say, everything we do has to uplift Waco ISD. Simple as that. I'm not to go backwards, but I will. When I got here, I just heard a lot of, I'll say internal, I'm gonna say grumblings, if you will, about ourselves. So that's the worst thing, in my opinion, that we can do is we don't speak life about ourselves. Like one campus would say, yes, but I'm not sending my kid to this middle school, or I'm not sending my student to this high school. Yeah, I'm gonna go to 6th grade and then I'm gonna leave and go to a different district, right? So I was hearing all these things, and that was not externally, that was internally. And that bugged me. And so I clapped back a little bit in some of these meetings when I was talking to staff and parents about we have to sing each other's praises and we have to protect the name of Waco ISD. And I even tell people, if something bad happens, because people are people, it does happen. You say, yes, that did happen, but you also clap back with 2 positive things that are going on positively in Waco ISD. So we have to protect our house, we have to protect our name, we have to protect one another, because we cannot do this work if there's infighting or anything like that taking place in our home. And then last but not least, we have to encourage one another. There's, not to take you to church, but I'm gonna take you to church. My old pastor, he made a comment. He goes, I've been a child at this age, but I've never been a child in this age. And that resonates with me because it's true. Our kiddos these days are facing so many things, and they have access to so many things, which is insane. And then I think about our teachers. When I was a teacher, it wasn't as hard as it is now. So when we're doing this work and we think about our teachers and what we're asking them to do, and sometimes it's not even us, sometimes it's our state, sometimes it's the federal government. How are we making sure that we provide hope and we encourage them in this work? And even superintendents. A lot of my friends, not all, but some of them have quit. They've retired or they just stopped, right? And so how do you, because I need you, let me just put it out there to you. I need you to encourage me. This is a hard job. And Waco ISD is a very hard district. We have a lot of work going on that's positive work, but there's lots of heaviness that takes place. And all the time you don't hear it, you won't see it, you won't know it because you're at the board level. But in my seat, I hear and I see everything. Some things that are not for public consumption, I know about, right? And that becomes heavy. But I always hold on to hope. And so I encourage you, as we go through the rest of this year and we set the tone for years to come, that we pour into one another. And I'm asking you as trustees to do that. As we go through the rest of your packet, you're going to have in your email just some artifacts that kind of talk through the work that has taken place over the last year If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You guys have your one-on-ones coming up. We can talk during that time, or if you just want a phone call, we can do a phone call as well. But let me know. This is the story of Waco ISD. This is where we've been the last 12 months, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for volunteering to serve as trustees in Waco ISD.